Oklahoma could already be playoff-bound, except Heisman Trophy frontrunner Baker Mayfield and the No. 2 Sooners have to play in the revived Big 12 championship game, and beat No. 10 TCU for the second time in 4 weeks. For a league left out of the college football playoff twice in the first 3 years of the system, the timing of its title game return could be less than ideal. "We've known it for a while, and we're excited to play," Oklahoma coach Lincoln Riley said. "If they all of a sudden sprung this on us here at the end, you probably wouldn't be real happy about it. It's another chance for us to go play. It's a great thing, I think, for our league to showcase 2 great football teams going at it." The Sooners 111-81, No. 3 CFP would almost certainly be a lock for one of the 4 playoff spots even without another win. But a loss could unravel everything the league had hoped for by resuming its championship game after a 6-season hiatus. Even TCU coach Gary Patterson acknowledged when asked this week that probably the best outcome for the Big 12 is Oklahoma to win. That doesn't mean the Horned Frogs 102-72, No. 11 CFP are going to roll over and clear a playoff path for Oklahoma. Patterson's group relishes the chance to avenge a 3,820 loss in Norman, Oklahoma, just 3 weeks ago and win a championship, even with no realistic chance of getting in the playoff if they win. "I have an obligation to TCU to try to win the game. Period," Patterson said. "We feel extremely focused and confident," left tackle Joseph Nadaboom said. "We just wanted another chance at them. In college football, you don't get really an opportunity to play someone again once you lose a game. This is the first time since 1913 that TCU is playing the same opponent twice in the same season." Oklahoma jumped out to a 3,814 lead on November 11 after Mayfield threw 2 TDs in the final 5-12 minutes of the first half. Running back Rodney Anderson accounted for 290 yards, 151 rushing, 139 receiving and 4 touchdowns. "I don't think either side is going to come in and just totally scrap what they do and change it completely up," Riley said. "Both teams have obviously had a lot of success doing what they're doing." Patterson said what his Frogs have to change is getting off to a faster start and tackling better. "We did not tackle Rodney Anderson at all in the first half," Patterson said. "And if we tackle the same way, it won't matter what defensive call we have, it'll look about the same way." Some other things too in the Big 12's first championship game since 2010 fast STARTSSTINGY second halves. Oklahoma has averaged 34 points in the first half of its past 5 games. On the other side, TCU has allowed only 6 total points, 2 field goals in the second half of its last 7 games. Even Oklahoma was scoreless in the second half against the Frogs. "I think they just settled down," Patterson said of his defenders. Old versus young. The defensive-minded Patterson is in his 17th season at TCU, making him the second longest tenured FBS coach behind Iowa's Kirk Ferentz' 19th season. The 34-year-old Riley, previously an offensive coordinator for the Sooners and East Carolina, is the youngest head coach in the FBS. He took over when Bob Stoops suddenly resigned this summer after 18 seasons. Oklahoma is the national leader, averaging 594 total yards of offense. TCU leads all Big 12 defenses, allowing 318 yards and 16 points a game. In Jerry World, Oklahoma has split its previous 2 games played in the home of the NFL's Dallas Cowboys. The Sooners won the last Big 12 title game 2,320 there in 2010, and lost to Texas A&M in the Cotton Bowl there 2 years later. TCU is 21 at Stadium, all of those regular season games, the last in 2013. Mayfield has played there twice, in a Texas State high school championship game and against Baylor when he was a freshman at Texas Tech. Extra points. Oklahoma is 71 in its Big 12 title game appearances. TCU is playing in its first conference championship game in any league. TCU senior safety Nick Orr is expected to serve as a captain even though he won't be able to play until the second half because of a Big 12 imposed suspension for throwing a punch during a sideline scuffle against Baylor last week. BOESENS back TCU Matt Boesen had a school record 512 sacks against Baylor and has a sack in all but one of the last 7 games. The game he didn't was against Oklahoma, when he was ejected early in the second quarter after kicking at 2 linemen while trying to get off the ground.